I really like the idea of a spellcasting monk, a monk who can weave in between enemies and unleash magical prowess on them just by touching them, just by hitting them, those kind of things. D&D Beyond doesn't let you add spell slots to a class that doesn't have them, which means that because there's no spellcasting monk as it stands, you can't make one with spells. So I took the concept I had, and instead of making it a monk, I made it a wizard. Hello, my name is Jason, and this is Dragon's Horde D&D, where I share all of my homebrew stuff. And today we're going to be teaching a wizard how to punch. Magically, of course. The realization of this whole concept is called the Spellfist wizard. It's a class of wizard heavily inspired by monks, both externally in terms of game design and also internally in terms of the in-game lore. The Spellfists are a group of wizards who spliced themselves with monks, not literally, but learned the ways of monks while maintaining a focus on their arcane studies. The result of this is a wizard that is incredibly strong in close range combat using touch range spells. While not as fast as monks, obviously, it would be silly if they could hit 6 times. Instead, they specialize in attacking multiple targets in close range and then using those attacks to bolster themselves and bolster their defenses. Let's go over the features that they get, shall we? At level 3, you get 2 features. The first of your level 3 features is Center the Weave. This allows you to choose an additional target with any touch range spells that you cast, as long as that target is within 5 feet of the first one. Along with that, it adds a bit of force damage to your touch range spells to boost them up a bit. This is where I try to make sure that this differed from the Blade Singer. A wizard with a low defense is going to get absolutely decimated, so rather than going for a high AC here, Arcane Leech allows you to bolster your health instead. When you hit with a touch range spell, you gain an amount of HP based on the number of creatures you hit and the spell's level. This heavily incentivizes an incredibly aggressive style of play where you're constantly running into the fray and making sure that you're the center of attention, which I think is an incredibly cool space to play around with a wizard. It also leads to constant fluctuations in health and temporary health, and that's also just a lot of fun and not something that you see a huge amount of in D&D. The level 6 ability, Magical Reach, just gives you an extra 5 feet of range on your touch range spells. Now, it's important to note that there are species which have a better range than 5 feet, like the Bugbear, and this would therefore bolster them slightly more. Well, percentage-wise, it's actually less, but you don't care about the percentages. At level 10, you get Inspired Strikes. This allows you to use your bonus action to cast a touch spell if you normally would use an action. The main aim for this is to help better replicate the concept of a monk. Monks can obviously use their bonus action to attack and can attack a lot. The Spellfists can't attack as much, but they can attack multiple targets, and if you can use your bonus action to cast a touch range cantrip, you can still hit multiple targets. I appreciate wizards get a lot of AoE anyway, but this is a different way of playing things, and I think that's what's most important when designing a subclass. At level 14, your AoE gets another boost, and you can target another creature, which means you can target 3 creatures with your touch range spells. Technically, you can target more creatures than that. It depends on the touch range spell itself, which is worth noting. Now, there are lots of spells and variables when it comes to this kind of thing, and it's incredibly hard to design for all of them. So if there are spells that, as a DM, you feel this is just way too broken with, buffing spells, things like that, then by all means make sure that this is just attacks rather than all touch range spells. That's absolutely fine. I just like the idea of this. Obviously, I designed it. That's kind of the point. Well, I designed it along with a friend of mine called James, who always gives me good feedback on these things. That is the short of the Spellfist wizard. It's not an especially complicated class. It does the thing it does, and it does it well. You want to move into combat, you want to use cool touch range spells like Vampiric Touch or Chill Touch or Shocking Touch. They're not all called touch, but here we are. And you want to be able to bolster yourself while doing that by draining HP from your enemies, basically, getting yourself 10 health. And you want to be able to continue to do that while not being a huge drain on the healer, because as a wizard you have a really bad HP, generally speaking. That is it for this particular one. Next week will be another general D&D video, but in 2 weeks' time, the next homebrew will be a cute creature for once, not horror. So that's something to look forward to. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.